that I'm going through. I've been through situations where I got to be basically initiated, or whoever brings me around, they got to have some type of reputation, right? They always say this, right? One of my favorite things that Kevin said was like, "Yo, does your name hold weight?" Right? Meaning, if you say this person's name, can they get you access, or do people respect you? Do people like, oh, they light up? Do they smile just hearing your name? Right? I remember there were certain times where, younger days, I could mention somebody's name, be like, "Oh, he good here. Yeah, you ain't got to worry about that. Yeah, you good." And then you use somebody else's name, they be like, "Who? No, no, no. He ain't welcome around here." Like, well, that's the dude you just used. Now you're in a situation, right? It's kind of crazy how scenarios and reputations play out, because some people can be good in one area and be terrible in the other area, right? And that's just one of the things that happens. That's why I say being a moderator to be able to assess situations better and quickly, it helps you move faster, and it makes you move quicker and smarter, and it's just a whole lot better. One thing about Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Talking That Talk Official Podcast, where we have comfortable and uncomfortable conversations. I am your host, Juice, aka No Ordinary Brother.
All right, what's good, world? I go by the name of King Exodus. Welcome back to your favorite show. We're doing this once again, Talking That Talk Official Podcast. Alrighty. Um, Normally we do the quick talks before the episode, so we'll just keep it real short. I was doing some reading earlier, and I noticed that Apple, when its AI thing fully develops, they will have products that will be able to monitor your workout regimens, your activities. Pretty much the software alone will become your personal trainer. So previously we spoke about Apple starting the whole thing to where you can open up a savings account with Apple. So we have Apple Fitness, once again, healthcare, you know what I'm saying, with the whole blood pressure thing. So once again, just totally dominating in every single aspect. Shouts out to Tim Cook. So it's one announcement.
Oh man, another announcement I say that's two things that happened that's very interesting. You had the death of Jerry Springer, right? I noticed that in the passing and stuff that's going on, you have two different sides right now. Some people are saying like, "Oh, the GOAT died," a daytime show, and other people are like, "Bro, he exploited black people. Why are y'all celebrating this man dying?" Like, it's interesting seeing that, because everybody's back and forth on this certain situation, and then hey, it just got reported that the lady that had the situation with Emmett Till has passed away from cancer. And you have some people that's just reporting it, and then you also have people that are happy and satisfied with the situation. Some people say, "I wish it happened sooner." It's like, yo, they say that's some interesting stuff that didn't have popped off. And Tyrese, man, $766,000 in child support. Whew. You know what I'm saying? I see somebody make a comment like, "Well, that's why I won't get married." Interesting enough is when it comes to child support, there's definitely a bigger increase when you're married versus when you just have a child on the outside.
Yeah. Okay. And one more thing we can add in, you have 19 countries that are joining BRICS, not BRICS like them things that we know about in the streets, but BRICS, BRICS, which is pretty much a group of countries that are going against the U.S. dollar. So we have China, Russia, India, South Africa, right? So you have a lot of countries that are now just in line to join this whole stand against the American dollar, so to speak. For those who don't know, the U.S. dollar was the most dominant dollar worldwide, especially in trade. And it was the number one dollar in oil, right? Because America is about 15% of the world's oil is produced in America, but the Saudis and all them, they have the biggest oil reserve.
They have
so
the richest, the biggest, the finest. Right. That's what
right.
they call it there.
So just have to put that out there. This would definitely impact the American dollar if it's not the number one dollar that is traded. More specifically, if it's not the number one dollar that's traded in oil. It was called the petrodollar. So let's just see how this affects the economy or not. It can affect like stock exchange markets, you know what I'm saying? So it's just very interesting to see how all these things play out. But meanwhile, notice that's not really blown all over the news. That's not really just what everyone's talking about. We still see the left versus the right, when eventually both sides are going to have to come together in order to keep this economy flowing and keep this country the free #1 giant that we have claimed to been all these years. So very interesting.
They got to come together just to keep it afloat. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Just to keep it afloat, and you know what it means to keep something afloat.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of times before we can focus on, in order to focus on the enemy outside of ourselves, and this is just real life talk, you have to focus on the enemy within. So if we can correct these problems within, fix the house within, then we can fix everything on the outside. So just very interesting key facts for y'all, man. We like to give y'all more than just topics, you know what I'm saying, bring you in up to speed with what's going on with the world, give you fun facts, current events, all these type of things. So, Juice, what we talking about tonight, man?
I was just about to make a comment. Listen, the internal will affect the external. Always remember that. Starts within the inside. All right. So tonight's topic, I wanted to bring this on the table. I have a lot of conversations with ex outside of, personal basis and stuff. And I was like, you know what? It's time we bring up the subject to talk about protecting your network, right? Protecting your network is everything, right? I don't know if y'all remember when we was younger. It was fun, like getting our friends jobs and putting them in certain positions. When they quit, it'd be like, oh, you know, it's McDonald's. Hey, it's the movie theaters. Hey, it's Toys R Us. You know, it's the smallest things that we were doing to try to help each other out in the smallest times. But as you get older, you understand trying to put your people in certain positions in different fields will now affect you in all routes, all levels, right? I remember one time I got with somebody a job, man. They literally like followed me everywhere, right? I was working at McDonald's and FedEx at one point, and I remember the way the person quit kind of pissed me off, right? There wasn't no 2 weeks notice, no nothing. But this was early on. This is when like we're 19, 18, but they would just leave. No call, no show. It was just like, huh. So as you get older, if you're still dealing with individuals who still think on that basis of just getting up and leaving, I'm going to tell you now, depending where you are, like, fucking, it don't matter where you are in life, stop putting people in positions to accelerate when they haven't changed their mind, when they haven't grown. The mindset is everything when putting people in positions of employment, positions where they can get resources to get their business off the ground, or even resources just to be able to connect and find other things that can connect them to different levels that can pinpoint them out to their family, peers. Like I said, resources and competence is a lot in this field when it comes to networking. I got a lot of stories for y'all on this subject, but yeah, protecting your network is everything at this level.
All right.
Stage.
All righty. A very key thing that I'll bring up is once we put in all this hard work to build our network, because your network is your net worth. A lot of times we try to bridge everyone in together, and that's a terrible idea because not everyone has the diversified personalities or traits that you may have to be able to exist in multiple rooms, multiple settings. You know what I mean? So I remember having a conversation with my father one time about Ice Cube and Dub C. And he was like, man, he don't take Dub C everywhere with him. And I'm like, he can't. He's like, but that's his boy. I'm like, fuck that mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could take him in certain situations where Dub C can thrive and be himself, right? But in certain rooms or certain spaces, he's going to have to change who he brings into those locations, right? So the important thing about protecting your network is being able to protect the people on both ends, right, of the bridge, right? Protect the people that know you in this one particular space, light and image, right? And then protect the people that know you in another set. Every bridge is not meant to be crossed on particular spaces and levels. Now, by any means, you have a certain type of birthday party or some type of event, and you want all your friends and family there, fine. But that does not mean that you're going to introduce people to other people 100% of the time. So that's very key. And then sometimes the people that you can't bring around at the particular moment, you may be able to have like a personal development period with them to build them up if they have the potential to connect to certain people that you know. So once you you connect people to other resources, you being the name that did it, everything falls back on you. Everything. Whether you did it or not, whether it was your intent for something to go left or right, everything's going to go back to the name that brought these two energies together.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? If we take it to the lowest level, to the hood, if I link you up with a plug, you rob the plug, or something like that goes down, first person is going to get looked at is me, because I made these two energies come together. I was in the middle. So you just have to be very careful about trying to connect everything. Everything is not meant to attract, right? So I just shut up on that point. Everyone doesn't share the same taste all the time. You know what I'm saying? Some people can ride in the car with you and listen to any music you put on, and then some people can relate to some of the music you might want to listen to. You might have to adjust your styles based on who's around. So every bridge is not meant to be connected. So you got it.
Oh man, that was beautiful. But I don't know what you was talking about earlier. Just wanted everybody to know that.
About what?
No, I was just messing with you. But listen, there are key things where basically you'll be the bridge, meaning you're going to be the moderator, right? One of the things X always does, a lot of people don't pay attention to, but even on the outside world to real world, the way I talk, X has to be there to break things down for other people all the time. I like, because I'm going to want to talk a certain way, and X will be like, see, what he means is you want to get the solar system to line up. All right, cool. You know, cool. Do your thing, man. Do your thing, man. But there's going to be situations where you're going to moderate as an individual and to where you can get them to connect, or you could choose not to do it at all. One of the things I just read in the comments was vetting. Yeah, definitely. You've got to vet people when it comes to that access point. I'm going through, I'm not going to say I'm going through, I've been through situations where I got to be basically initiated, or whoever brings me around, they got to have some type of reputation, right? They always say this, right? One of my favorite things that Kevin said was like, yo, does your name hold weight, right? Meaning if you say this person's name, can they get you access, or do people respect you? Do people like, oh, they light up? Do they smile just hearing your name, right? I remember there were certain times where, younger days, I could mention somebody's name, be like, oh, he good here. Yeah, you ain't got to worry about that. Yeah, you good. And then you use somebody else's name, they be like, who? No, he ain't welcome around here. Like well, that's the dude you just used? Now you're in a situation, right? It's kind of crazy how scenarios and reputation play out, because some people can be good in one area and be terrible in the other area, right? And that's just one of the things that happens. That's why I say being a moderator to be able to assess situations better and quickly. It helps you move faster, and it makes you move quicker and smarter, and it's just a whole lot better. One thing about me right now, even for myself, I joined several memberships that I had to pay for, right? Some of those situations, I had to have somebody who was there, like, hey, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, I'm thinking about bringing them to the organization. Somebody start asking me questions, I'm answering them. What do you see yourself doing there? Why would you want to, goddamn interview questions, basically, right? So there's memberships that you pay for free. There's memberships that are basically open to anybody. And there's certain situation organizations that you got to be initiated, meaning somebody got to come to you and you have to be of value or something of that nature that makes them want to present an opportunity to you. I'd also say, like, some of these organizations you be a part of can definitely catapult yourself on a different level, right? I have a lady friend right now. She was like, well, technically, I don't want to join this organization because I know my friends are already part of it. So me, just her being a part of it, I could just attend everything for free. I say, okay, cool. But see, I would pay just off the basis of having that membership for the beneficial factor of being a member, right? Because funds are being contributed from memberships. You know what I'm saying? So me being a member and contributing to different events and different things that might partake in the future, it's like, okay, I know him. Okay, yeah, he's good. But that's just a little something right there.
Okay. One thing that came to me when you was talking, you was like, pretty much your name holds weight. So before we can protect our network, we have to build our name up and make it credible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this goes based on character, principles, morals, execution. What do people know you for? These are important things. So every time you meet an individual, every time you walk into a building, every time you walk into a space, you want to make sure that you are impactful, right? For positivity, if that's the route that you're on and that's your trajectory, so to speak. So within building your network, these are things that you want to keep in mind. A lot of people focus on certain tangible things like image and this plays a part, right? But it's not the end all. You also have to get your knowledge up as well. You have to be diverse in conversations. You have to be able to, first off, know what type of network that you need to build based on your strengths and your weaknesses. A lot of people build a network around their strengths or their weaknesses, and they don't really do both. So you need different types of attachments to your network in order to make sure that it's strong, right? So you don't want to just have conversations with people that you agree with 100% of the time. You want to have people that have different perspectives. This will build your network more, even if it's not within that particular. It's just making you more charismatic, more diverse, more of a open-minded thinker as a person. So any type of energy you exchange with another individual is contributing or taking away from your network, whether you know it or not. You know what I'm saying? And we can dumb it down to the simplest level. If I listen to, like me and Juice was talking earlier, Juice finally on King Von. You know, that's my guy. That's my guy. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? He's like, bro, what if this shit would have came out when we was young doing that thing? Probably wouldn't be on a podcast right now. You know what I mean? So what am I trying to say? You know, if you really just what you constantly consume is what you become. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's bad food, bad environments, toxic music, toxic conversations, these things are going to either diminish or make attributes towards your network that you're trying to build. So you always want to be mindful of the energy that you carry and the energy that you connect with. So you got it.
All right, all right. One thing he said, I talk about this a lot of the time, is you don't want to always focus your network on your strengths. I always say, listen, you need a multitude of counselors, meaning you need individuals in different areas that are there. They're specialists, right? I might want a finance person here. I might want my a therapist here. I might want, you know what I'm saying, a person who can promote here, a marketing strategist here. Like, these are the things that you should be looking around in your circle within your phone. Like, all right, if I put these people together, I know I can make something happen. That's the important part about growing your contacts too, because I'm constantly always looking for individuals and situations I could put myself in to better myself. I have a therapist that just hit me up yesterday that was like, hey, are you interested in doing a survey? I'll get you paid for it. It's more so I just want to basically just like running questions to pinpoint out what are the good questions, see where my IQ is and stuff of that nature. Cool. I always say I like taking assessments. I like doing things of that nature to see where I'm at mentally. Every year you kind of change as a person if you really read, study, go out there. Like, everything you're thinking about at one point in time, it can change over time, right? I remember my colors at one point. Some of y'all I don't know if y'all know the color test. My color test would be like red, blue, green, and yellow, right? Red is like more of a competitive type of individual. Blue is for outgoing. Yellow is more empathetic. Green is analytical. Over time, I switched over. I'm more, my red and green are at the same. I'm very analytical, and I'm still competitive. What's up, Tony? Tony's still blue. What's up, Tony? He already knows what I'm talking about right there. So over time, like, who you are as a person will change due to your environment, the information you're consuming, and stuff like that. That's why I do love doing assessments. It lets me know where I am, how I became over time, and stuff of that nature. So when I say having individuals you could call on at any given time that can help you become a better person, it's a beautiful thing. Like, it's times X is my go-to for fitness. I'll be like, hey, listen, man, I'm about to buy this product. X would be like, listen, the amino acids, and I'll be like, man, I don't even know what you're talking about, man. But yeah, cool, I'm gonna go buy that. Ask him 90% of the time, I just be like, whatever he talk about, I'm just gonna go buy. Or I'll just look at him and be like, what you got? Okay, I'm gonna go buy that. I see how it looks like on you. But at the same time, one thing he always told me was, hey, listen, start studying your blood type. Your blood type is one of the biggest things of the consumption of how you'll grow bigger, why you'll be weaker, stuff of that nature. I was like, okay, okay. You know what I'm saying? Actually, one of my greatest fitness guys. I had a cousin I would call on for business marketing, AI, technology. He done it all. He hit C-class executive before he left the corporate world. So that was my go-to person of having a mentor as well as a business partner. So like I'm saying, it's the more you start surrounding yourself with people that are greater than you in different areas, the more you start becoming stronger in other areas because now you have a professional or somebody that's in that field that can get you there. Yeah.
And just yeah, and veggie back off what you was just saying, man. Shouts out to Bobby Heru. I got that veggie back from him. You just have to make sure that within your networking circles, that majority of the times you're not the superstar. You're not the person ahead. Like if you build your circles around things of that particular gratitude, 9 times out of 10, you have room to grow and improve because you're around people that are more established than you in different areas. So it's always like you want to have more of a network to where you have room to grow and learn versus room to teach necessarily. Now, teaching, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, for every great person that's on the camera, they have mentors made them who they are. So they still serve humanity by giving the world, right, what they have to offer. They're living within their purpose and their truth. But behind closed doors, they have teachers, mentors, leaders, people that give you that package that you see on the screen. So a lot of times when you have to build your network, you have to set aside ego in order for it to fully prosper and become what it can potentially. So I know that's where a lot of times attacks people network is they're so busy in the competitive state of mind, they lose sight of the potential growth that they can gain from another person because you're too busy trying to beat them at something instead of just learning from them. You feel me? People paid, Elijah Warren to go learn the dream shape. No one went there and said, I'm going to out dream shape this nigga. Like, you pay thousands of dollars to learn from them. People go to basketball camps from other superstars. Kobe was giving out camps. You know what I'm saying? So just dumb down your ego enough to where you can learn and grow. But your ego can serve you justice in another space and setting and craft. Because people are going to look at you the same way you look at other individuals. So I just have to throw that now.
No, I'm thankful. You know what I'm saying? One of the abilities sometimes to actually gain the next level is the ability to actually teach somebody else. Sometimes I've been around situations, I don't know, me just sharing information. People like, yo, you're a very knowledgeable person. Like, what else you got going? You don't even know. That's why the power of sharing your network. I mean, just speaking alone can get you to more places. One of my mentors taught me, you know what I'm saying, I got two subjects I'm gonna talk about on my I'm gonna talk about was listen, you need to move like a country. And I kept asking myself, what do you mean move like a country? He said, listen, every country in the world, they have an alliance, they have an associations, they have no associations, or they're enemies. And I'm like, okay, where you going with this? He said, listen, sometimes the people you're around will fall in these categories. Sometimes they fall in all these categories. And he's making more sense to me. And I'm giving out examples. I was like, okay, so in other words, he said, listen, do you remember when the U.S., Ukraine owed the U.S. at one point? Russia came back and bailed them out. And now you got a situation where the U.S. bailed the situation out with Ukraine, and now they're at war with each other. They were associates. They were associates. They were alliance. And they were enemies. I was like, damn. Okay, he said, listen. He said Pearl Harbor. What happened at Pearl Harbor was another thing with Japan. When they lost the battle, they had to give up their military, right? Japan has now got to a point like, listen, fuck that U.S. dollar. I'm going to get with these bricks. What happened? They were an enemy. They had to, like, these are how people are going to jump in your world. So sometimes somebody's going to make a move that you're going to see as an enemy, right? But you never know down the line who they might become without those four subjects. Sometimes they say,
Mhm.
well, is the enemy of my enemy or my friend? That's a true
Mhm.
statement. So when I started really, when he really dropped that knowledge on me, it made me look at every situation I ever been in completely different, right?
Mhm.
Because you know how we get fucked up. We're like, man, fuck him for life. Hey, we gonna do this. We gonna beef. He said, hold on, you in a different. You're going into a different world now. You don't do that in business. You don't
Mhm.
burn your bridges because you never know when that person's gonna come back around. And
Mhm.
it really just blew my mind the way he said, think like a country. As I'm throwing out examples, he's helping me out with the examples, understand. And I was just like, wow, that really
Mhm.
happened. So,
Mhm.
so that's my thing to y'all. Think like a country. Every individual you meet, you don't have to kick them out of your life 100%. Understand how to maneuver once you see them make a move and then observe it and then move accordingly.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, let's veggie back again. All right, so if you're looking at yourself as a nation or country, what you want to do is you don't want to make the mistake that America just made, right? You have a world outside of your network. And even if you got your foot on the neck of that world, you don't still want to be so egotistical that you can't see people planning and plotting against you while you're still thriving within your own network. You have to see your world that's in front of you that you create, and then see the outside world as well. So for a long time, America, Taiwan was part of China, right? Taiwan gained their independence. Taiwan, it's a company called TSM, right? They are the first or second biggest producer of the tech, electronical chips, right? That makes everything function tech-wise, right? So Taiwan has that. That's in Taiwan. So China is trying to take over Taiwan. So what America did back in the gap is they played both sides. They offered protection to Taiwan and went heavily into business with China. Played
Mhm.
both sides. China didn't like that. But China was too small throughout the years to buck that. America's helping Taiwan. We can't do nothing about it right now. So year after year after year after year, China advances in technology. China advances into export, the biggest export. America is the biggest
Manufacturing, bro,
import. So
agriculture, bro.
right. So just the picture is you can have an enemy that's within your network or outside of your network, and they could be constantly building and gaining momentum and gaining momentum and gaining momentum. And just because you're prospering right now does not mean that you're going to be at this top position forever and it's going to be unthreatened. So what does China do? Threaten Taiwan. So now America, like, look, if you go at Taiwan, we're going to retaliate. What does China do? They still haven't made a move on Taiwan physically, but what are they doing? They're slowly picking apart America in so many different ways. TikTok, TikTok, they got everybody information, fam. Everybody information. You're a part of TikTok, right? So you got TikTok, you got the balloon that flew across the whole country, unnoticed. You have all these different things, and now what are they doing on an economic scale? They're devaluing the dollar that's already losing value here in America. So you just have to look at how war is like a game of chess. And sometimes if you're too within your ego, you don't see, you know what I'm saying, you might be 3 moves ahead, 4 or 5. Somebody else could be 10 moves behind, but it doesn't mean that they can't catch up and be fucking 12 moves ahead. So the biggest thing in protecting your network is, once again, knowing that it's always a world outside of the world that you see. And you never know how many enemies you got working against you. So you can lose everything just being egotistical. Now, America has the biggest military out of anybody. They spend the most money on guns and defense. This has been the biggest threat that made America number one, the value of the dollar and the military, right? So what happens when we have these kind of conversations with alpha and beta, right? So many betas could come together and say, look, there's 30 of us, it's one of him. You grab his leg, you jump on his back, you do it. We can take him, there's 30 of us. So this is what we're seeing. So if you want to protect your network, just be very vigilant about what's going on within your world and the world outside of you. So you got it.
Man, listen, that was nicely done. So I want to make a comment on the alpha and beta thing, right? I talked about this plenty of times. Like, when me and X, we always talk about when betas listen, real rank. It don't matter if they jump you, you lose it. It ain't street fighting. Like, oh, they jumped him. No. You still lost. Now you're at the bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a documentary. I can't remember this gorilla, right? Mm-hmm. There's a gorilla that was going around terrorizing people, right? Mm-hmm. Working his way up the alpha. Mm-hmm. Them chimps was like, hey, listen, we tired of this shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 of them. Mm-hmm. Jumped the gorilla. His rank automatically dropped down to 30. He was at a point in that documentary where those betas that jumped him, he wouldn't even go towards the direction because he lost rank. And that's really one of the coldest realities of the world. If you want to be the alpha beta thing, whatever, it don't matter how many of them you lose rank. Period. Mm-hmm. And this is in business. People like, well, it took 3 of y'all to take me down. You took it down. Who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares? You lost. It's over. All it takes is people getting together and doing more things, man. Like I said, great job on that. Besides moving like a country, one of the craziest things that I experienced this year, I'm gonna go ahead and tell the story. X already knows the story as well. Is as you start networking, you start getting out there. There's a lot of people who still have the crab in the barrel mentality. To this day, this still hurts me, but I'm past it because I let it register with what happened, and I move forward. Mm-hmm. There's a thing in Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. It's called a rodeo, y'all. I get a call from this individual who's like, "Hey, are you interested in going to the rodeo?" I was like, "Hell yeah, like, I'm definitely interested in rodeo." This individual is higher than me on a social economic level. He's kind of in a different hierarchy than me. So I'm looking at it like, okay, let me network myself. Let me make sure I look good and make sure this individual looks good. So I'm already planning it out. I'm like, yo, what's the attire? Hey, rodeo gear. We're going to meet about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I said, cool. All right, let's go. Now, I have 3 goals this year. It's very simple, right? One is graduate trucking school. The next one is to go to tech school, graduate from there. And third is simply improve my image as a man. We go there. I meet up with him. And we're walking around. We're talking first. We're just talking about life. We're talking about economics, politics. We're just talking, having a good time. And then he gets a call. One of the people in the suites was part of this donor scholarship. They were like, hey, we're just checking in with you to see what time you'll be in. And we tell him, we're like, all right, bro, it's time to head to the suite. So before we get to the suite, I ended up running into a childhood friend I grew up with. In fact, we didn't even recognize each other. The person was just like, hey, is your sister so-and-so? I was like, yes. Well, I'm so-and-so, and my brother is dating your best friend's sister. I said, wait, hold on. Are you okay, cool. Like, shaking hands, small conversations. We're getting ready to proceed inside. And I remember I asked him, like, hey, have you ever met your donors before? He's like, no, I never met them. I was like, do you know anything about them? He's like, well, they're part of Houston Rodeo, so these people make contributions to the scholarship, and we apply for them, so we get access to them, and we're able to proceed forward in college and all. I said, okay, cool. So as we're getting my name tag, he's getting his name tag. One says scholarship. One has donor that's inside, and then plus ones are just people with regular tags. So the minute we walk in, we know only 2 black people there. And I remember telling him, I said, listen, we can look like we don't belong here, or we can look like we belong here. The choice is yours. Well, somebody comes and greets us. They're like, hey, how are you? So-and-so, hey, yeah, hi, nice to meet you. Is this your +1? Like, yes, ma'am, my name is Jonathan Fowler. She's like, oh, nice to meet you. You have a nice handshake. And she's like, I like your shoes. I'm like, oh, thank you. So they're talking, doing small talk. And I told him, I said, listen, let's split up right now. You could go talk to the people over here. I'm going to talk to some people over here. So as we're talking, he's making his conversations with him. Remember, I'm just a +1 there. And I'll end up talking to the camera lady, and we're just talking about life. We're going deep at it. And I run across a person that had a donor tag on. I said, "Excuse me, are you part of? Are you a donor?" He was like, "Yes, I am." I was like, "Listen, I want to say thank you for your contribution so much. Because of your funds and your donation, my friend right there, he was able to move forward in his life. From college, he was able to get more opportunities to opportunities. He was able to move to organizations. He was able to become part of the board. And it's just a domino effect of the things that you do as an individual that can move so many people in our life." They said, "Him right there. Let me go introduce myself. I'm buttering up this individual I'm with, right?" The same lady that introduced us comes back a little bit later. She's like, "Jonathan, I like you so much. What do you do? Like, what are you going on with your world?" I was like, "Well, listen, I'm part of the logistics industry. Right now I'm doing route delivery for this company. But I see myself also going into the tech field. I've studied that trucking and tech is moving by 35% for the next 5 years. So I'm looking at getting a piece of the pie." So before I can even finish my next statement, she brings her phone out and says, "Listen, I work for IT. I want to give you a scholarship directly." I'm ecstatic. You don't see it in my face, but I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been preparing myself for the next step because I'm already about to graduate. So I put my number in the phone. I'm happy. I'm feeling good. Then, like I said, we kind of like just, I went with the individual I was with, and she went back. So before we left, she said, "Listen, I love Jonathan so much. I actually offered him a scholarship. I would like for you to keep him in contact with me so we can proceed forward."
Mhm.
So I'm happy. I'm thinking the guy with me is happy, right? So there was some situation that was happening within that event. I had to bring him back to reality. This person is a Democrat. Some of the donors are Republicans. And he was like, "Man, there's some Trump supporters around here. I don't know if I can network with them." I said, "Listen, we ain't here for that shit. I'm here to network. I'm here to talk to people." I had to snap him back to reality. As we're moving forward, he was like, "Yo, listen, I realized I gotta be careful on the drinks I'm starting to have around these social events. I need a better drink." I said, "Yeah, bro, you don't order club drinks at networking events." The first thing you see me do when I walked in, I said, "Excuse me, what are you drinking?" She's like, "Club soda and a lemon." I said, "I'll take that too. I'm gonna mimic whoever's in there what they're drinking so they don't think I'm trying to come here to party." And people don't even understand the smallest drinks do matter. So speed this up. I end up saving the individual number wrong. I contacted the individual. I said, "Hey, listen, I'm trying to get in contact with this individual again. Could you get their number for me?" He's like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll get it for you." 2 days go by. I'm like, "Hey, is it? Was you able to reach out and get in contact with this person?" Like, "No, I guess I don't know. I left a message to one of the individuals that ran the event,
Mhm.
and they were like, they haven't responded." I said, "Well, you were just emailing them, and they called you before we got there. Like, you can't get to them." And she's like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna reach out to my sister, see if we get them." The sister's powerful. Sister got power. So I'm like, all right, well, she got power. 1 week turned to 2 weeks, 2 weeks turned to 3 weeks, to a point I realized this person wasn't really looking out for me. I went and made that connection on my own. I didn't need him. He gave me the opportunity by being there, but it was me that was presenting myself a certain way, making
Mhm.
sure I shake hands and stuff. So the bottom story is listen, you're going to have opportunities and not know what that person is really thinking that brought you there. That could have been a situation where it was just me but to get that person to make them look better. Or I could look at it on the basis like, yo, the person didn't want to help me out. Either way, these situations will forever happen as you network. Be smart enough to assess the situation for when it happens and learn from it. Like I said, become a country. Don't look at anything any other way. But yeah, that's just a story about the crabs in the barrel
Good story.
mentality.
Good story. Good story. Okay, so
It ain't a
out
good
of that,
story.
I mean, the
Yeah,
way it fits
no.
to the conversation, you feel me?
Yeah,
You feel
yeah.
me? So I go on a three-peat. It'll be like a 3-in-1 combo. First two would be trust and loyalty.
Hmm?
When it comes time comes to protect your network, trust is very key and critical. It's not saying that you can't trust anyone, but trust is something on a day-to-day basis that's worked for and earned. A lot of times we want to implement loyalty, right, to people within our network based on the value that they held in the past tense, or what they did before you once upon a time, right? And it's not saying that they lose value over time because they don't fully produce the same way within that capacity again and again and again, but people will show blind loyalty to people within their network that aren't producing enough to have that type of loyalty. So trust is very critical and key. Like I say, the people that you should trust are the people that show you that they're working for your trust, not the people that's just living off the impact. So you have to be very critical about that. Like a person that wants your trust is constantly going to work for it. That's the key factor that you focus on. Who's working for you? Like you don't want to have a bunch of money sitting around and your money's not working for you. You want everything and everyone to work for you just as much as you work for them. That's reciprocity. That's the way relationships balance out. It's not saying that what I do for you, you do for me exactly, but there has to be an exchange of value, right? So this is what builds, I would say, appreciation within relationships. You appreciate people based on what they produce for you, and they appreciate you based on what you produce for them. So going back to the loyalty factor, a lot of people can say, hey, look, I owe this person loyalty because we're family or we're like family. And this is what fucks up a lot of people's network, is because they're remembering things of the old. They're remembering who you once were to them. And what happens in every TV show, every movie, a lot of times it's the people that's closest to you that easily fucks up whatever you're doing if they don't completely erase you out the picture. So we see these type of things recycling, playing over and over again. TV shows, Power. You know what I'm saying? Every single show you see betrayal, which leads me to my guy, Franklin Saint. He didn't protect his network. Right?
Oh, man, don't do it, man. Don't do it, man.
Yeah, he had to pick up the bottom because of loyalty and disloyalty. He was loyal to people that was never loyal to him, or they may have been loyal to him periodically, right? But over time, that loyalty was gone, and he never saw it until it was too late. He didn't see Louis wasn't completely for him until she took the plug. He didn't see his uncle wasn't completely for him until he chose his chick over his family. He didn't see his mother was completely against him, even though she came back on some, how can I politically say snitch, mold. She was a mold, right? And he didn't see that until she put them 2 bullets in Teddy. So he didn't see his chick being unloyal until she took the 800 racks. Like he was so busy trying to be loyal to everyone despite his mistakes that he couldn't see them changing their energy towards him. So that goes back to being vigilant of your network. So once again, trust and loyalty are things that should be worked for, not given. Fellas, we date. You dating a woman, if she a lot of times off the rip, man will tell you, hey, look, if she hits you with that, she dating with a purpose shit early in the beginning, and she's looking for exclusiveness. A lot of times, dudes tell you, hey, pass up on that. Why? Because it's giving you a notion that she's not willing to compete for a position. She wants you to give it to her. She don't want to work for it. God damn.
God damn
Get out of here, man. Yeah. So, needless to say, I say that to say this: work for everything you get, and keep people around you that's willing to work for what they have, and then that way you can kind of like somewhat kind of lower the people around you that may try to undercut you or whatever it is that you have, right? So, you got it, man.
Man, yeah, work for everything, man. Listen, as they said, you can't pay your way to get into certain networks. You can't pay your way to get into certain access. Your money's no good here. Look, I be trying, like, people be looking at us weird, like some people weird when we say stuff like that, right? It's when I actually was, like I said, I've been with my mentor one time, and I remember like the way he was talking amongst the group he was with, and you can basically tell the dude was trying to buy his way in, and
Mm-hmm.
he simply just said, "Listen, you don't work." It was as simple like that. You don't work. But everybody here works, right? We understand you got money. We don't care about that. Like, what else are you going to contribute back to us, right? Because you also have leeches and networks. Basically, a leech will call you for everything, but the minute you try to call them, they ain't got nothing for you. There's no reciprocity. There's nothing there. They know you to
Mm-hmm.
go to for anything, but you can't go to them for nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say you protecting your network is understand the leeches, the roaches, the snakes, the
Mm-hmm.
vultures, the sharks.
Got,
You got to
got,
understand everybody falls in these categories. Everybody falls in these categories, right? I always say, listen, I'm a wolf, but you'll see me with some lions too. Why I'm with lions? Because lions can get shit done. Being a wolf by myself is not fucking enough, bro. It's not fucking enough. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the most honest things a person can admit to. Like being an introvert, that's cool. I'm an ambivert. But what I'm saying, people want us to always rely on being an introvert while they can't make certain things happen in life. Cool. My favorite thing I always say was like, if you was meant to do everything on your own, should you been born on the planet by yourself? All right. So go talk to some people. Go make some things happen. Law of 33%, one of my favorite things I always say, I think my percentages has actually shifted up more, is, 33% of your time you spend with people that are beneath you. Who are these people? These are people you could teach, you can help build up their mindset, you can be somewhat of a mentor to them, a teacher. Other 33%, spend time with people that are equal. These are your friends, your peers, your associates, your colleagues. These are people where you can equally exchange ideas and y'all get a harmonious back and forth energy. Other 30%, spend time with people who are above you. I think that's one of the most uncomfortable things people can do. I crave to spend time with people that are above me. Why? It humbles me the fuck out when my ego kicks in. It humbles me the fuck out, right? I've been thinking I'm somewhere, somebody, one of my mentors or something, be like, yo, you haven't done shit yet. And they'll be like, celebrate your small wins. Like, yeah, that's cool to have that small burst. But if you only celebrate the small things, how do you know what something big is going to look like? I was like, it'd be like I said, it'd be a lot of humbling moments that keep me going and keep me level headed. What? That's all I got right there.
Okay. And I would just say, like, a lot of people you have to know your experiences and know what you need to improve yourself. Me personally, I always grew up around people that I saw that was like a level ahead of me. Like, I grew up around people that was more funny than me. I grew up with people that, what I'm saying, family members that had more charisma, more personality, more of everything. So I got used to being a sponge. So a lot of times people will mistake me being quiet for me literally just being quiet. But I was just so used to being a sponge versus being the kid that always spoke out. I was used to being around older people, so I was used to being quiet and watching versus just talking a lot. And even now, I still just don't talk a lot for no reason. My first response is to read the room. There's power in reading the room, shutting your mouth, opening your eyes and your ears. It's very powerful. But if you're always talking, if you're always loud, and you're always being a person on the forefront, 9 times out of 10, you're losing something within an exchange or something like that. So that's just how I grew up. I always grew up being the person in the back seat. So getting older, what I'm saying, I just keep those things in mind. That's how you grow. That's how you learn. But everybody has different experiences. And my next point that would tie me into personal development and building your network. And how you build yourself is key. This is a never-ending journey. Never ending. You never get to a point to where you get, I got it. You don't have shit. The more you know, the less you know. Like, these are things that keep you grounded in knowledge, information, impact, whatever. If Denzel still take acting classes, like these are things that people focus on. Like, the greatest of the great are still students at some point. They still have a humbleness in their approach towards life. So what does that mean? Everyone has room to grow. So you never get to a point to where you're good enough for anything. The universe, the world don't owe you shit. No one owes you shit. you only get what you work for. What does that mean? You never stop working. Kobe, one of my guys, never stop practicing, never stop working. Jordan, never stop practicing, never stop working. You know what I'm saying? You have people that go pro, if we're talking athletics, and they don't have that same grind, that same grit. Yeah, they get paid, they feed their family, but you may remember their name, but they're not on that all-time great list. And then you have some people that excel at being great. So what am I saying? Personal development is very key and critical. Every day, you always want to have discipline. Mike Tyson gave a little interview and he was like, look, talent is nothing. Discipline is what it's about. Discipline takes you to the next level, not talent. It's a lot of talented people. I was just telling somebody earlier, yo, I grew up, I've seen, I can show you a person that succeeded in something, and I can show you a person that was better that didn't reach that pinnacle. They went to prison. They got killed. They turned to drugs. They had more talent than the person that's at the forefront of whatever it is, whatever craft. There's going to be someone with less than you that's more talented than you, but they didn't have the key components that you had in order to transition into being a professional or being successful. So discipline is everything. When people talk about LeBron and all that, they talk about the dude, what's his name? What's Len Bias or some shit like that. Like, it's, yeah. So it's always going to be these type of situations that happen. So personal development is uncomfortable to some, and it's always going to be uncomfortable, but there's comfort in discomfort. Be uncomfortable temporarily to live in comfort and longevity later. So this is how life works. An older guy told me when I was younger, either you pay now or you pay later, but you will pay. You cannot go around not paying for something. So whatever corners you think you're cutting, whatever, you're never going to shorten the process. The shit's always going to come back full circle. So get that into your mind now. Work for everything, every day. Find ways to nudge yourself, even if you don't have the discipline around you. You have no excuses. Whether you got to write shit down, you got to, whatever you have to do to make sure that you're excelling, you're working on your weaknesses, whatever you have to do to discipline yourself, make the shit happen. If you got to go join a group, you got to go join an organization, you got to go join the military, you got to get a gym membership, you got to switch your religion, you got to go get in a fucking fighting style, martial arts, boxing, whatever you have to do, join a fucking book club. I don't care. Just make sure that you establish discipline within your personal development, and that will expand your network. So you got it.
Oh man, I don't think I have much to say, but I would say this. Listen, who we are shows up in the physical.
Hmm?
Some of y'all be calling yourself kings, queens. I'd be like,
Yeah.
be like, listen, there's one thing to create that optimism or that dopamine to keep you going, but do not let it become delusional, right? You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, but I don't even know what I want to say right there. All right? I had to let this slide out for a second, but there's a I always say there's a delusional state of mind majority of people will operate in, right? Self-worth. For instance, I know people who got the highest self-worth I have ever seen in my life. Nothing happens in their life. But their worth, they know it, they feel it, it's inside of them, but they don't put no actions into letting it be known and seen in the world. Like, I always felt like one of the things I used to always say, like, yo, you got some of the smartest men in the hood, or the richest men in the hood. What I used to call it, the mentality, richest man in the hood, the smartest man in the hood mentality. Like, bro, if you're so smart, why you couldn't get out the hood? Like, some people, well, I just wanted to stay there. I was like, listen, there's people who leave and come back and rebuild it back up. There's plenty of people who did that. Some people with the discipline route, some people did it with academics. That's why I said, like, a lot of times scholarships and individuals who are educated do get overlooked about the ones who went out there, got the trades, got the academics, and it still went back and rebuilt the community and do stuff like that. But when you know it all, you should have it all. So sometimes when a person always got the answer, make sure they got the results. You got the answers, you got the results. I look at it. Hey, you got it. Fuck it. You got the result.
Yeah. Man, my last thing would be just simply, even on space of knowledge and information, the way they pull is divide and conquer on the masses is simple because people get lost in the wrong information. So even on the information level, the quickest way to learn is to learn in opposition. If you read something you agree with, read something you disagree with at the same time on the same subject. That way you learn from both perspectives. Now you're more open-minded. So when people come to me and they try to vent and say shit, I piss them off. I'm like, well, I see it both ways. And they, they cut me off and all that shit. But I'm like, hey, yo, I just see a lot of shit on different perspectives because that's how I learn and grow. A lot of shit is never left and right. It's always a middle ground to life. So nonetheless, the way you develop yourself is not showing loyalty to any source of information. If developing yourself is the most critical goal that you have, you're going to have to be as open-minded as possible to make that happen. Right? So that's all I got. Great people have a way to move any room in any environment and attach a multitude of people to them. Your favorite rapper is not just your favorite rapper because they talk the way you want them to talk, or they talk that shit that you like to hear. When you go to that show, you're going to see different races of people from different ethnicities, different economical statuses. You're going to see a wide range of variety of people that attract to that quote-unquote superstar energy force field. So a lot of people want to have that impact of a great, iconic person, but they don't want to be as diverse in their approach towards the whole world. So I was just simply to say that, like, all these people, they have a wide range of people they can impact. So I'm done.
All right. I believe we did a good job right there. I mean, I already know there's gonna be like a part 2, 3, and other people that's gonna come up in the future. But I'm good on the subject right there. I do feel like we touched the bases. You gotta watch out, protecting your network, how to expand your network properly. Crab in the barrel mentality. You know what I'm saying? I did break down about like how individuals take you around a tour, basically, not expecting you to actually want to live here, like a neighborhood. Yeah, so
I got to have a hoop for you. I want you to do this for the viewership. Emphasize, and this could be the last thing. Emphasize the importance of personal income and money, advancing up that scale, and building your network.
Oh man, listen. To advance is a people's game. Straight up, it's definitely a social game. To even move up to move up anywhere. You know what I'm saying? They say income does not far exceed personal development. Some people get lucky, but eventually it catches up to them, right? Meaning you get lucky and make a lot of money, but if you have not been emotionally tested, you're gonna lose it all. Because there's moments I'm going through right now. Because I'm getting myself out there harder now. I be getting tested. I be, it be moments I'd be like, man, I'll crack this nigga jaw, bro. Right? Some people will bluntly test you out in front of people just to see how you react to it. It's very uncomfortable, but at the same time, you got to get uncomfortable to get comfortable, right? Because the same thing, you feel like they're just picking on you. They do that to anybody. They're trying to see who's going to be the weakest link, right? Weakest link in anything that they do. Personal development, your talking, your habits. Listen, majority of my damn mentors or anybody I met on a high level, they all read. Majority of our conversations have been talking about books. We was talking about books. We talking about books, people we listen to. What do you think is going on in the economy? Like I said, questions that you throw out there and they answer and you answer. One of the biggest things people really enjoy is when they say, listen, I be wanting to have these conversations, but I don't know who I can have it with. That's how you know you're on a different level. Because it's a lot of things, even as an individual myself, I don't feel like I have certain conversations with people. But then when I can have one, I'm very appreciative of that. So when it comes to that, the personal development, that growth, even on trying to move up vertical in companies, it's your communication. Like they said, listen, you can be a hard worker, but if you work hard, why would I move you up? I need you right there where you can keep making money. Fuck out of here. That's one of the most uncomfortable things. That's why I like to, like, when I go places, I like to move around and talk to people in different departments. Well, they always talk about the HR. HR, hire, fire people, and also tell you other things that's available. I was talking with one of my good friends today when I was at work. I said, "There's like, yeah, you know, I see myself doing this for like 2 or 3 years." And I was like, "Hey, listen, to be honest with you, if you want to move up in certain companies, you're gonna have to jump locations, or you're gonna have to jump to different companies. Most people have planted their feet in one location so hard that they're waiting on people to quit, retire, and think that position's gonna open. No, if you're on a quest to get there faster, jump to another company that already has it available. Now you got that title, because then when it's time for something else, you're already qualified right there. They're looking at your steps all the time. Like, would you put a person like tell me about this joke where I remember my parents was like, yo, would you put a person, all right, put it like this. Your chances of having a long-term marriage, would it be better with a person who's trained for it, or you train a person on the go once you get married?
Person is trained for it.
And you got to mentally train yourself and prep yourself for every level. Like, my favorite thing I always say to myself is like, look, how you prepared yourself lets you know if you're ready for the next stage. And when you don't get it, go back. Go. You need some work. You got to go study. You got to go practice. You got to go get better. That's literally how I look at that, man. You got to keep getting better. A lot of this stuff is uncomfortable. I'm telling y'all right now, it's a lot of shit I don't want to do, but I'm going to go out there and do it. I know it's times like, yes, you don't want to work out, you still go. I feel the same way about advancing up and talking to people.
Biggest reason why I asked that question, because I was like, okay, cool. Like, I feel like you can convey that message very great, because I've seen you progress through our different stages. And even personally, like, a lot of people will have this energetic force field around their character. They got the intellect, they know how to talk and speak and carry themselves, but they lack the income. And then a lot of people will still value themselves based on the strengths and not the weakness, but it's balance between the two. Sometimes income gets you in a room, and then all the other shit we just mentioned is what allows you to navigate throughout the room. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't understand both dynamics. So the more you advance in one area, you want to advance in the other. So it means sometimes nothing, and it's hard to say that sometimes, but it means sometimes nothing to advance personally, but not advance economically at the same time. So this doesn't always mean money made. It a lot of times could be money spent, or how do you make your money work for you that you have? And that can give you another conversation. There's plenty times that I had money, lost money, had money, lost money, but my credit score was so high, all I had to do was put in my information. Oh, sir, here, take that loan. Pay me back in 3-5 years. Like, sometimes things just work out for you once you tackle all key components and aspects: income, personal development, personality. So you never really want to over leverage one over the other. Income is great, but you still have to be able to have certain type of conversations to take that to the next level. So that's why I asked you that question.
Man, I'm glad for asking that question, because like I said, I didn't see people who have money and nobody want to be around him. Like, fuck no, he's an asshole. Did you see what the fuck? He ain't got no man. He ain't got no character. They don't, bro. Listen,
what the legend said.
They'll take a man with more character and less money, over a person with money and less character, because they can work with a person who's already has that development in them to bring him up the income. That's why I say personal development is one of the main things. Because the minute the opportunity comes, somebody might say, "Who are you? What do you do here?" That's your chance.
Let's keep real. There's always somebody got more money. So, I mean, like, that can't be your biggest leverage. You know what I mean? So what the lady say, look, if you was a lame before the money, now you got money, you're just a lame with it. Like, it may give you different experiences, or maybe, but overall, a person that saw you as a lame prior 9 times out of 10, you're still gonna be that same person, no matter what. So, yeah.
All right, like I said, listen, core thing I'll say, because I know I remember it all now. That personal development is everything. I tell X all the damn time, bro. I am telling you now, you can step in a room and move some people. I mean, I done told X plenty of time, like, listen, bro, I'm around people who have suits on, they're fucking idiots. But to the world, if you're not in these rooms or around them, you're like, oh, he gotta be doing something. Sit with these motherfuckers, you be like, yo, what is he
You never know
talking
if you
about?
get in the room.
Yeah,
Go in the room.
all you gotta do is in the room, like, yo, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
That's
That's
all you gotta do. Like I said, income does not far exceed personal development. Some people get lucky, but eventually it's gonna meet where you are. Where you are as a character, as an individual, it's gonna match your income. Look at it. Some of your favorite artists and actors went broke. Look at where their personal development was. Look at the shit they was spending on. Look at the people that always had advising them. They had parents for advisors. Parents for fuck. You take some responsibilities in the things that you're going to achieve in your world. And that's the best thing I can tell you. You're going to have to.
Man, hey, I feel like we did our job, hopefully, to the
Man,
viewership.
man. I came out the jacket, man. I ain't know.
Hey, so y'all definitely tap into that YouTube channel, Talking That Talk Official Podcast. I'm definitely interested in comments and feedback that we'll get when we post this. Follow us on IG, of course. Talking That Talk Official Podcast. Up top, we got No Ordinary Brother. I go by the name of King Exodus. We appreciate you for watching. Hopefully, we did a service to y'all on protecting your network and building your network. And we out.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.